Hi, I'm Peter.
And I'm...
I can't breathe anymore. What in the world was that? Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, I got to give a little bit of backstory on that.
Why?
Because you just started the episode with, I am ying. Okay.
Wow,
so
that caught you off guard
it
big time.
completely did. So we are actually at this moment 10 minutes into recording our episode. Because we have been sitting here trying to figure out
Why we weren't recording in the first place.
why we weren't recording, because
We talked.
Yes.
Such good stuff.
yes. So I thought I started recording, but I didn't, because
You had a moment.
I had a moment. And so here we are just yapping away, and
Yakking away.
Yakking away. And I turn my head to look at the computer, and what do I see? Nothing. I did not hit record.
Actually, I'm the one who saw it. I was like, isn't that supposed to be counting?
Yeah.
Why is there no counter?
So we are 10 minutes into an episode that you will never hear.
Yeah, so
Because-
sad, isn't it?
Yes. So if you're wondering why she started it off with yak,
Well, it was really for you. It was to throw you off.
Yes.
It was because that was not expected.
but I have to explain it.
Yes.
So the reason she started off with yak was because I don't even know how we got to it, but you asked me about a yak and what it was.
Damn it, and we'll never be able to go back and listen.
Nope.
I just feel like I've lost a part of me.
Yes.
That's so terrible.
Something happened with a yak,
Well, we did say,
And we
what is
laughed
a
about it.
yak? I remember oh no.
and I said it was a water buffalo.
You said it was like
Like
at
a
least
water
give
buffalo.
yourself a little credit.
And then I don't remember
Those-
anything else after that.
Well, we did establish that it is a family to the cow and buffalo, and it is a wild ox with long, shaggy hair that lives in the mountains of Tibet. And you said something about, do I know how a yak got its name? And you said it's because
yes.
of the sound, but I don't
Because
even
of the
know
sound.
why I brought it up.
Yak.
So funny.
Okay.
So funny.
Anyways, so that brought us to a conversation about the zoo.
Yes. And does
So-
anybody like the zoo? I mean, do you like the zoo? Did you grow up going to the zoo?
If I told you that I did, I would lie to you.
You don't have any memory of it at all?
I remember going to the zoo, but I don't remember.
Paying attention or anything?
No, I don't remember it being like a thing that we went.
So maybe you went once.
Maybe a couple times.
And you never watched Discovery Channel or Nature?
Discovery Channel was on at my house all the time.
Really?
Oh yeah, we always had Discovery Channel on.
And I'm talking about back then when it was like Channel 2 and it was all the animal shows.
Yes, all the
Really?
the lion is sitting out in the prairie, and it's sitting there waiting for its prey as it comes through the brush.
David Attenborough.
Yes, Attenborough.
Oh, sorry.
Isn't it Attenborough?
Oh, yeah. You know, it's a name. It's up to interpretation. How you say it. There are no rules.
Actually, when he says that his name is Attenborough,
Oh, what did I say?
I don't know.
Okay,
Anyways.
but so you enjoyed it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I always enjoyed like animal stuff.
And I don't know why I feel like I've been fascinated with animals forever, but not to the point of wanting to be a vet or work with animals or anything like that. It's just the wildness of out there, the ocean, the mountains, all these animals who live in different habitats or whatever. It's always fascinated me. And I even remember, I don't know if you had this, but there's some toys that I remember from
Ooh,
childhood.
the little plastic
The
ones.
little plastic ones.
You'd
I
put a
can't
dollar
wait.
in the machine.
No, I
Yeah.
didn't get them like that.
How'd you get them?
They were either hand-me-downs from someone else or at the Dollar Tree. They used to sell like a package.
You never got to press the button and watch. That is a memory from the zoo.
I always wanted to. I saw the kids.
Yeah,
I saw the kids who got to do that.
We would leave. That I would. Do they still have those machines?
Yes, because we made them for the kids.
I love those machines.
Remember we made them for the kids?
Yeah, you'd put like a dollar in the machine, and it was like a little like plastic molding thing, and you'd have to find them throughout the zoo.
Collect them all.
Collect them all. There were a bunch of different animals, and you'd go and get them from each of the machines.
And they were wax, pretty much, that hardened.
Yep, and when they came out of the bottom, they were still warm.
I remember it because of our kids. But...
You okay?
Sorry, I had some air there. But...
You had some air?
Yes, didn't you hear me, like, hiccuping? It was like a hiccup / swallow / something. I don't know. Something happened there.
Is having some air a medical term?
No, that's called layman's term for people who don't understand medical terms. But about the plastic toys, that's the Miami Zoo thing. I don't know if other people do that because
you just went to the zoo.
I did not see anything at all where you would make a plastic figurine. So maybe not.
Could the cold weather not allow the machine to get hot enough?
Or maybe that's a thing, but they freeze. I don't know. But maybe they had something else. Maybe you could get like, because couldn't you do a coin as well?
Yeah,
I do think I
the
saw a
coins
coin.
where you flatten them out.
Yes, and it would imprint something on the side where it was like
you do
the
it
zoo.
with a penny. You put the penny in, and you put 50 cents, and you crank. They make
a penny that's worth 50 cents.
They make you do all the work.
Yeah. I mean, it is cool. It's cool. But anyway, I have this. I remember these toys. I loved the farm animals, and they would bring the little fence. And I would set all the animals up. I loved the wild animals, the lion, the elephant, and all that. I remember being a kid and wanting to go on a safari. I feel like the movies back then portrayed a safari in a way that it may still be true to this day. There's a lot of things that you see in movies that then you go experience them and you think, wow, that's really different than what I saw in a movie. But I feel like there's two things that are portrayed in movies that's exactly what they are like when you go in real life, right?
What movies have you seen that have a safari?
Oh, there were like movies, like I remember there being old movies.
Are these library checkout movies?
Library checkout movies, or I feel like there was one that was with an inspector. I don't know why I'm having like this memory, and he went on a safari. I don't know. Maybe it was Pink Panther on safari. I don't know. But even in cartoons, they would show you this. And the little hats and the little jeeps that they used to go through. And, I feel like that's the safari experience. You go to Disney, for example, and they have their safari experience. And what do they put you on? Right? And they put you on these little... they're not really jeeps,
but...
Like
the jeep things, yeah.
Right? And you're going through, looking at all these animals.
The Range Rovers or Land Rovers.
So, I mean, that's the experience that I feel like a lot of people want. But the other thing that they would show in movies was a circus. And at least the circus I went to. And I'm going to say I only went once. My dad may have a different memory of this, but I feel like we only went once to the Barnum. Was it called Barnum and Bailey?
Barnum and Bailey Circus.
amazing. I don't know if I was at an impressionable age, but I remember going and just being completely wowed because in a lot of also the movies that I watched as a kid, kids would run away with the circus.
What kind of movies were you watching?
Library checkout movies.
I know, but I know that you watched weird movies, but
You watched Where the Red Ferns Grow.
yes.
You watched The Secret Garden.
Yes.
Those were the movies that were playing.
Those
Free checkout
Those
movies.
are classics, though.
Okay.
You're talking about a movie where kids are running
you-
away to the circus, and
Did you ever watch Alfred Hitchcock or Agatha
I did.
Christie?
no, I don't remember Agatha Christie, but I
Agatha
do.
Christie did the Murder on the Orient Express.
I don't remember seeing that.
Really?
Yep, but Alfred Hitchcock. Alfred, that's a tongue twister. Alfred Hitchcock, I do remember.
So, I mean, I feel like kind of. I mean, I told you this. My dad used to like to go and rent movies that no one. There was like a section in Blockbuster that said the movies no one watches. And that's where my dad liked to go and say, "Ooh, look."
We talked about that.
We
talked
did.
talked about that in that episode.
So, and actually, I'm going to even say that the movies he would have picked definitely did not have anything to do with circuses or safaris. That would definitely be the library. But
well, I remember when we would go to Blockbuster. Because you're talking about Blockbuster. Yes?
mm-hmm.
Okay. So when we would go to Blockbuster, did you say Blockbuster?
I did say Blockbuster.
I didn't register it.
Oh, okay.
I apologize for my brain being unfunctional.
No, you said it right. You said it right.
Is it infunctional?
No, you said right. Functional. It's the delusion that you're in right now.
Delusion. Delusions. So I remember we would go to Blockbuster, and when we lived in Marathon in the Keys, we had a Blockbuster video that we would go to, and I remember we'd go in, and we had free reign of the store. There was don't go into the restricted sections or anything. We would just go around the store looking for movies. And what Blockbuster did, which looking back on it is such a smart marketing technique. I was going to say a ploy because it's a little bit of a ploy. But they would put all of their new releases on the back wall. Like it would start. It was alphabetical order from left to right. And it would run across the entire store where it would force you to walk the entire store if you wanted to look and see what was new, what was coming out. And they would make us go back into the back corner, like where the office is. I remember the layout of it. And it would be back over by the office. And that's where they put the entire kids section. So all the different movies with anything that would have to do with kids. And I remember that that's kind of where we would gravitate. Well, my sisters would gravitate there. I was already older, and I would start looking at the other movies and whatever was going on there. And it's not like today where you go on Netflix and you're like, what's new? And there's just 8 million new things. It was just a smaller amount of new videos and new stuff that was there. And we would start going through, start digging, and we would pile up like 10 movies each. And we would take it and we would be like, okay, we're ready. And my dad was like, no.
Choose one.
Choose one between the three of you. And we would just leave the pile of stuff. All the movies in the front.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. I don't know why that memory came to my mind because you were saying that.
How would you pick?
I won most of the time.
Did you develop a system?
So, Yeah, most of the time
Like
I
last
got
time I chose, you
no.
choose this time.
My sisters would be the ones that they would have to alternate between themselves, but I'd always get the movie I wanted.
Wow. Did you
I'm
promise anything?
no, I'm the older. I was the oldest. I was the only boy, so I'd get my movie.
Wait, because your parents chose your movie?
No, they were the ones paying for it.
I know, but so what do you mean you always got your movie? Your sisters conceded to you?
No, they had no choice. I would choose one.
Oh.
Later on, I got smarter about it, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to pick 10. I'm just going to pick one and be like, all right, here's the movie. And then my sisters would bring up a bunch, and they're like, no, pick one. And then they'd take home whatever they're going to take. And a lot of times it was like stupid Barbie movies and
I wonder,
whatever.
have you ever thought about like why did Blockbuster go under? Was it all streaming services' fault? Or was it that America owes Blockbuster millions of dollars in return fees?
No, I'm 100% sure it was Netflix's fault.
I mean,
When Netflix started doing what was it, 1 disc, 2 disc, 3 discs a week or whatever
by mail.
by mail.
A.
When they started doing that, that just killed Blockbuster. Because I remember you'd go to Blockbuster, you'd get 2 movies and some popcorn. And it was $10. Netflix was $9.99, and you could get
$8.99. I remember it
$8.99,
being $8.99.
and you can get 1 movie a week, or one disc out, 1 disc out at a time.
Well, not only that, but now sometimes you would go to Blockbuster, right? I remember doing this, going to the movie section, the new releases, and they're out.
Yep.
And it's not there.
Yeah, because of the
Online,
limited
you can
amounts.
just check. Is it available?
And they would move it. Remember how they would move it in the queue? So if you'd set up your Netflix queue for the people out there who don't remember this.
Don't remember Netflix in its infancy.
Yeah. So Netflix, you would go online and you would pick your movies and you'd put them in order of priority that you want them. And then let's say, for example, you chose Harry Potter, Indiana Jones, and Gone with the Wind. If Harry Potter was out, they would send you Indiana Jones. And then Harry Potter would take the second spot. So once you returned Indiana Jones, if Harry Potter was available, they'd send you Harry Potter. So it was a first come, first serve. And for the new releases, you would sometimes get, a little bit stuck on there. But I remember saying, oh, it doesn't matter if the movie's not that great. It's part of the plan. It wasn't that big of a deal. It's kind of like nowadays, we're paying $20 a month for Netflix, and you can start a movie, and if it sucks, you just turn it off and move on.
Right. This is part of the plan.
Yeah.
But interesting, right? How I've always thought about all of even the fees that we had with Blockbuster, right? And how they would tell you, hey, you have an outstanding balance. I do think that you would get to a point though where you couldn't rent if you were like at $80 that you owed them, right?
You guys got to $80?
What?
You guys got to $80?
We guys got to $80.
We did?
We did.
When did we get to $80?
When we were there, and I remember having to make a new account.
You and I.
In
our 22 years of marriage, got to $80 in late fees at Blockbuster?
Yep.
Why don't I know this?
But I remember you standing there and knowing this.
Maybe I purged it.
Maybe you did. Because that's shocking.
Blockbuster sucked.
What?
They did.
What are you talking? I have the best memories.
We gave them the movies back. Why would they charge us $80?
Because they were late.
Whatever.
Remember they used to charge you like by the hour that you were late? Well, and then there were some movies that I know that we have movies that say that they're from Blockbuster and we kept them.
That's stealing.
Stop it. I do know that they sold them. Remember when they would sell them?
Yep. Yeah.
Two for 10 or something.
Previously owned.
Yes, something
Or whatever
like
it was.
that.
Mm-hmm.
But
we bought a lot. We bought a lot of movies from
we
Blockbuster.
did. Remember Columbia House?
Oh my God.
Whatever happened to Columbia House? Is Columbia House still a thing?
God help me.
Do you know how many accounts I had on Columbia House?
Do you know how much money we probably owe Columbia House?
Yeah. Probably.
Because
we would do the free, or wait, it was like you choose 5 and it was like for $3 or $5 and you get to keep all of them, and then you get one $29.99 movie a month. And you could send it back.
And they also did it with the CDs. Do you remember that?
Yes, Columbia Music. I do remember that. You know, like all of these people, you have to think Netflix was a forward thinking.
They are still around.
No, they're not.
Doing the same thing.
No, they're not. What's their offer right now?
So you get 2 DVDs.
2?
Hold on. You get 2 DVDs for $9.95 with your new membership. Then every few weeks you get the director selection. Remember that?
Yes.
And then you get 60% off of the regular club prices. And with every order of 2 DVDs or more, you get free shipping. But it has to total $35. And then it says you can skip movies and cancel anytime. And then it says, sounds great, let's get started.
That's shocking to me that they're still doing that in the day and age. And I'm talking about now because I feel like the trajectory of where things are going is everybody's streaming their stuff. They're buying a digital copy of the movie. There's only a few select people who still want like a hard copy.
Do you remember with Columbia House that we would get the little paper with the peel off stickers, the stamps, and you'd have to take the stamps and you'd put them on and then you'd send in the thing?
I do.
On the app or on the website, it's you select them and they put them down at the bottom like the little stamps.
Wow. That's wow.
I don't know how they're making their money.
I don't know either. I really don't.
What other things like that did we do? We did Columbia House for DVDs, for movies.
For music. And actually, can I tell you something? I remember, we're going to go back to that, but I'm saying I remember we owned pretty much every single Disney movie. Every single one, even the ones that are locked in the vault. Remember, there's a lot locked in the vault. On VHS. And I remember having this conversation about, and I'm saying we, you and I, not me as a kid, okay? And us having a conversation of how can we just like get rid of all these VHS and now we have to repurchase everything on DVD.
I remember us saying, DVDs will never catch on. That'll never be a thing. And here we are. Not even with DVDs. We went to We went to Best Buy yesterday, and we walked into a section. I needed to buy a little adapter for a controller, and we saw little cases, like little tiny,
like 3x3 cases.
Yeah, like super, like tiny cases for the video games, and it was the full game because it's a digital download.
But they're still printing it like on a little plastic box.
Our Xbox does not have a spot for you to put in a DVD.
Our computer. My laptop. There's no CD-ROM in it.
No CD-ROM. Everything is downloadable. So that's the world that we're in.
Right. So to think that Columbia House is still doing that. I do remember something with books.
Books.
Yes.
We did do a book thing.
Yes. And it was for the kids really. But it was something like that too. You could choose like 5 books and then they would send you a book a month. I don't remember what the book club was called though.
I don't remember.
I don't remember that book club. But other than that, I don't think we had anything else. Oh, we did Gamefly.
We did Gamefly.
And I think
That
Gamefly
one actually,
is still a thing.
Gamefly was actually pretty good for Mike. It wasn't,
Yes. I feel like it gave him the opportunity to try so many things. And in fact, now I think that they actually have a digital store so that with your subscription,
well,
you can
it's like Game Pass. Or what's the other that the kids do on the PC?
Steam.
Yeah, Steam. Where you
Well,
can
Steam
get
is
but
free,
Steam
right?
is right. It's just a bunch of different games and
But then some are for purchase and some are free.
right.
Right. And yeah, so I feel like Mikey had a great time because he could try a game and even figure out, do I even want this on my wish list or is it terrible?
Mm-hmm. Subscriptions. What else? What else have we done for subscriptions?
I mean, that's back in the day.
Mm-hmm. But nowadays
It's more like you have a coffee subscription, a streaming subscription, you know.
we just this past week. So this past week we tried out HelloFresh,
Oh yeah.
which is it's a subscription.
That's not what we tried though, but
It's HelloFresh.
it's Home Chef.
It's Home Chef. What's the other one that
We tried HelloFresh before,
yes.
and then we chose Home.
Just so that you guys know, we are not sponsored by anyone. We just do stuff the way we do it, and we just talk about it the way that we talk about it in reality. HelloFresh was very disappointing. So,
and that's a personal opinion.
yeah, so we've been looking for a home, what is it called?
Meal prep,
Like a meal
delivery service?
prep service, whatever. And the reason we've been doing that is Katmia's in school full time, and I'm running a business. There are times where we just don't have time to think about what we're going to do for dinner or wanting to have to come home and put together stuff, whatever, right? And so when Katmia went to South Carolina over the holidays, I had gotten a thing from HelloFresh for us to try it. And I jumped on and I could not find meals that we were happy with.
Well, I mean, let's give some of our feedback on this, right? Why didn't we like it? Because actually, I know other people who've tried it and they really, really love it, right? So we have very specific dietary desires and needs, right?
Yes.
So although they do allow you to choose things that are non-dairy or gluten-free or stuff, I felt like their choices, were more on the that's not what we're eating side, you know? So I didn't feel like they really had a ton of choices in case somebody wanted to be vegetarian or changing out proteins. There was a lot of red meats. That's something that we're not eating. So I didn't feel like that was mindful of those things, right?
Right.
And then the second part was I didn't like the fact you have to pay for the subscription
Before being able
beforehand.
to see what there was available.
Right, because now you've given a company your credit card information, your personal information, and you don't really even know if you want to sign up.
Right.
So once we got in there, all of a sudden, all the options were, well, this is what there is, and
right,
you know.
And so we made, like, I went through and we made some choices, and we were just like, this is not going to work for us. I'm not a fan of it. Let's look and see if there's something else. And I canceled the subscription, but they forgot to do their part on their end, and they sent us the box anyway. So,
but we were good.
Yeah, I called them up. I called them up and I was like, "Hey, you guys sent me a box. We had canceled. What do I do?" And they're like, "Just keep it." So the week, it actually ended up working out perfect because it was the week that Katmia was in the Carolinas. So that's what I ate that week for dinner. And the produce that there was in there was lackluster.
You showed me pictures.
Yes. The zucchini looked like a shriveled pickle. That's
saying much.
That's saying much.
It looked like a gherkin.
I looked like a gherkin. Yes. Anyways, like the onion was super tiny and the potatoes just like there was a miss. Like it just I was not sold.
I'm sorry, did you hear a beep?
No.
Okay.
Did you?
I did hear a beep.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Pin hearing things that aren't there.
Okay.
Pin that.
So I had to use a lot of modification in those meals. I couldn't cook it the way that they said to do it because it was missing this or it was missing that or something was off or it wasn't great. So I told Ketmia that I'm not really sold on it, and we moved on from it. So we're talking about November, December, January ish sometime. The beginning of January.
After Christmas, we sat down and we talked about, okay, what do we want to try?
And we looked through and
we looked through a lot of them because there's a lot of choices out there.
There's a lot of different choices. And Home Chef. Home Chef, because when you start looking at stuff on your phone, everything pops up. So Home Chef pops up and it says $90 off your first 3 weeks. So it's $30 off a week and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, let's try it. It's it's $70 for a week of meals for 2 people. It's worth the try. Let's try it. So we ordered our first box.
Well, and just again, let's give some feedback right off the bat. The experience, even ordering, was entirely different.
Right. Yes.
The things that stuck out were, hey, you don't want this protein? You can change it out.
You can change it out.
You want fish? Do you want to be vegetarian? We have vegetarian options for you too.
And the other option that it did have was, here is our full menu for the next 6 weeks. Go ahead and take a look at it.
Do your stuff ahead of time, right?
Yeah, before you even put your credit card in.
Right.
So we ordered our first week of meals. They came in last week. And we had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of meals.
Can I tell you what I thought, how they were coming in? Because I didn't know how this worked out.
Mm-hmm.
I thought every day we were going to get like a meal delivery.
Like cantina?
No. That we were going to get a box and it was like, this is your Monday meal. Because you know how we chose it? It said Monday this day.
Right.
And that's how I thought they were going to do it. So we were going to have to eat. This is what we're eating today. I didn't realize that they were sending you a box that was all of the meals that you chose for the entire week. Here you go. And now you can choose what to eat. I didn't know because I had never done something like that before.
So we get the box, we open it up, and you can visibly, immediately see the quality in produce. You can see the quality in the meat, everything individually packaged and separated
and that's a huge
organized.
Thing for me. How things are packaged, you can get me like that. I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah.
All the little bags with everything. It was so neat.
Yeah.
I would almost even say that those bags are reusable if you wanted to.
Yes, they are. I like, for me, the immediate difference between the way HelloFresh did and Home Chef did is HelloFresh had a little brown bag and everything was just thrown in there. You couldn't see any of it. But Home Chef was these clear, plastic, sturdy, like Ziploc carriers that you could see everything in it. With handles, with the name clearly printed on it. Like, it was just
so that right off the bat,
bounds.
If something was missing or something was spoiled, you would know right away.
Right.
A question. With the HelloFresh, did they send you also color recipe cards?
So they had a recipe card. They kind of looked the same.
Okay.
But they're I mean, it was a step-by-step big old recipe card that you could use or whatever.
Because to me, that was a huge plus in that the meals have been so amazing that every time we eat, we're like, is this our favorite? Was this one number one? Because I thought yesterday was number one, but I don't know now, right?
Well, the other thing too with the directions on the cards, now that you just brought that up, I the difference between the Home Chef cards and the HelloFresh cards, the HelloFresh just went straight into instructions, but the Home Chef has a instructions that you read, and it tells you, like for example, if they send you, like we just did on Friday night, we did poblano peppers stuffed with chicken, and it was really, really delicious. They send you a big old red onion that gets used in 2 different parts of the recipe. If you're not paying attention and you go to step 2, which was to make the pico de gallo, I would have used the entire onion. And then in step 3, I needed another half onion.
They're counting on people reading everything through first.
Right. But Home Chef says onions get used twice. The cilantro leaves some for garnish. And it just broke it all down what you needed to do. So you know, as you're working through it, what you need to do. And it makes a huge difference because I followed the step-by-steps, and it tells you, okay, this one's going to be 35 to 45 minutes. This one's going to be 20 to 30 minutes to make. And they're spot on, like right on point. And the other thing that I absolutely love is that at the end of the meal, everything is clean. All the garbage is put into this. I use the little Ziplocs.
Bag, right?
I put everything right in there. There is nothing left over. There is no overage, no spoilage of food, no leftovers, nothing. There's exactly 2 servings. And the first couple meals, we were like, there's no way that this is going to be enough. I feel like we're going to need to add something. And we did to a couple meals.
Well, we made a salad.
We added a salad or a Capri salad or something. And what we realized at the end of the week was we didn't need those extra things because those meals were hearty. They were delicious. They were, they were really, really good. Like, really good. And I'm looking forward to this week. We got another box coming tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what a home run. Totally a home run with this. And I mean, other people, and you know what, maybe we just got a bad box with HelloFresh.
It was 5 different meals.
I know, but maybe it was just a glitch, and because I'm sure that there's other people who have had really positive experiences and they absolutely love it. But for our specific needs and what we were looking for, Home Chef is what works for us.
Yes, absolutely.
And so totally, like I would, if you're thinking of trying a meal delivery service or something to help, I mean, I feel like even the time that it takes you being in the kitchen is less because not that they have things pre-diced. I mean, they do have that option too.
Right.
They have some.
Right. We did one
meals.
meal. We did one meal. It was 15.
Everything was pre-cut for you.
It was 15 minutes to put together, and it was literally throw it all inside of a oven dish pan,
right?
Aluminum pan.
These are called like one sheet,
and just
meals.
Mix it all together and go. And we were sitting down and eating in 15 minutes. You are yawning a lot.
I know. Has that ever happened to you?
On the episode?
No, not on the episode. But I'm saying, like, you woke up just a little while ago and you're already ready for a nap.
Every day?
No.
We talked about this in the episode where I just constantly was yawning. Do you remember that?
And we probably had to talk about sleep because of that.
Yes.
It's so weird because someone said that to me last week, that they were feeling like their eyes were having trouble, like just opening. And I understand that because there's some times where it's just like, it just comes over you. And you just feel like this need to just like, I could just sleep right now. But you're not tired. So I don't get why the body wants to do that. It's weird.
Sometimes it just wants to rest.
I guess. And now you're going to start. That's terrible.
I know.
That's terrible.
Anyways, so Home Chef was amazing.
So that's our latest subscription.
Looking forward to this week.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's been amazingly helpful. And, I feel like even this week, I felt like it changed how we did our groceries. because really we're only shopping for breakfast stuff, which is really our shake, right? And snacks, which are either, the bars or fruit. It really isn't what else do we need? The weekends. We're cooking on the weekends. Right?
Yeah.
Hey,
And it wasn't
today
very
you're
much.
smoking a chicken.
Smoking the chicken.
So the only thing that this has brought on is normally we would have leftovers to take for lunch the next day, and this is not leaving us with leftovers. So we're still trying to figure it out, but I feel like it's a really good step in the right direction.
For sure.
So that's good. Now, about hearing things that are not there. So I feel like I haven't really talked about school or anything that's been going on. But so this is about school. So I have a friend of mine. We have been together since day one of starting college, right? Again. And her name is Alejandra. She likes to go by Ale. And so she and I, we always take our break together or we come in together, whatever. So we're walking out on our break and we take the stairs in order to do some activity rather than just riding the elevator down, right? But there are these like big double doors that you open to get to the staircase and walk down, right? So we're walking towards the door and all of a sudden the door opens. Like, not all the way, but it opens enough that we step out of the way to wait for the person behind the door to come in. But no one comes in.
Okay.
So she pushes the door like, hello? There's no one there.
The pressure of the...
Okay, the pressure of the door would have caused it to open, what, a couple inches?
No, it depends on the pressure that is inside the... Because it's one of those
and mind you, we
staircases
use
that's inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mind you that it's one of those... one of those. We use that staircase every single day. We would know, hey, this door gets pressure, right? Nothing. We looked at each other like, well, that was really odd. Okay, whatever. We just went about our day. Now, that's the next day, the very next day, our professor tells us that she was she was out in the hall talking to our positioning professor, right outside of the lab where she teaches in, okay? They're having a conversation in the hall, and she said that she heard the arm of the machine move. And she knows that there's a student who was there from another group, okay, who the positioning professor, I guess, was doing like some one-on-one work with. And she hears like, when a person like clears their throat and then they spit and it's like they're hot. What's it called? They're
hawking.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying, right? And she says that she stops talking and she knows the student who's there. So let's just call him,
Bob.
I was going to say Bobby. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's call him Bob, right? And she's like, oh my gosh. Bob is disgusting. I hope that he was not spitting, I hope that he's the only one in there and it's not one of the girl students who's doing that. And she says the positioning professor looks at her for a second and she's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, who's in the room? She's like, there's nobody in the room.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay. And she's like, what are you talking about? I just heard the machine move and someone coughing or, spitting up and hawking, right? And she said, there's no one in the room. She doesn't believe it, right? So she says that she investigates and there's no one in the room. And the positioning professor tells her, because she's a very mild-mannered, like quiet, smiley professor. I don't know how to describe her. She's very sweet. But she tells her, haven't you heard? The room is haunted. And there's lots of people who have claimed to hear things, see things, and there's no one in here, right? So our professor is telling us, I know that they're pulling my leg. And they're just saying this so that, whatever. So she goes to the program director and tells her what happened. And she says, yeah, so that machine that is in that room apparently was recently acquired from a local hospital, recently in the last few years, right? And ever since that machine came, there have been strange occurrences happening where doors will open and no one is behind them, or you hear people talking or noises and no one is there. And so she's telling the class this, like, somebody tell me I'm not crazy, right? And I told her, they're just messing with you. They're just saying that to you because you're obviously so affected by what's happening. And she was like, right, that's what I thought. But the program director, she's a serious professional person, right? She assures
Serious
her.
professional people have fun too.
Well, she says that she feels like she would have told her, like, I'm joking. So she said, I don't know what to make of it now. So now, apparently, and my question was, why would a person want to haunt Kaiser University? Like, of all the places that you can haunt, why not go haunt a hospital? There are much more interesting places to go to than to come to Kaiser. I don't know. So there's people in my class who I guess are very afraid of the supernatural.
And they won't use the stairs now?
So then Ale was like, wait a minute. Tell her about the door that opened, that no one was there. And I was like, oh yeah, that did happen yesterday, right? We didn't think anything about it. And she's like, oh my God, something's haunting this floor, right? So apparently we have a ghost there, which I think is very romantic, but.
Well, we'll end with another ghost story.
Another ghost story?
Yes. So when I worked at Party City, I worked at the store on Kendall and 107. It's no longer there. But this was a very, very old building. And we needed to turn off the lights.
Which Party City?
The 107 in Kendall.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So
next to the UFC thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So when we would close, we'd have to turn off the lights in the back of the building. And then we had 2 emergency lights that we left on, and we would have to walk all the way to the front, but the store is all dark and spooky and scary, and during Halloween, that's the point, right?
Right.
So we have, during the Halloween time frame, where we hire a bunch of extra people to bring them in to help with the extra rush. And we started to have like things, well, this was always, but during Halloween, there are shelves that just like spit stuff off. Okay. Like just stuff falls from shelves, and like it in a dark place in the middle of the night, all of a sudden you get something that falls off of a shelf. People are freaking out. And then some of the new people.
And this was at any time or only during Halloween?
All the time.
Oh, no, so not just during. Okay.
All the time. So we had one of the people that we had that were temporary just let out a scream one night because they're like, we just saw somebody run across the back of the store, but there's only 3 of us here and we're all standing right here. And she was freaking out like really, really bad. So I saw that as an opportunity to do something in the future.
Okay.
So about a week later, I took a a Mexican poncho that we sold. I tied balloon string to a hanger, right? And I put it on a hanger. I pulled up the poncho to the top of the roof, like right in the front area. And when we shut off the lights, I had this little bit of string tied to the side of one of the rafters. And we turn off the lights and we start walking towards the front. And I wait for her to go passing by this like space where I have this poncho hanging on the roof, and I pull the string and drop the poncho like right over top of her. And she has let out a blood-curdling scream, falls on the floor, goes into the fetal position.
Yes, let's keep it. Let's
The
keep it.
fetal position.
Let's keep that one.
The fetal position. And she starts crying.
Babe.
Hold on. She starts crying. And I am beside myself.
I feel like that moment, remember in the office when Jim played a prank on Andy and then Andy went berserk and then Jim like looks at the camera like, stop looking at me,
Yes.
like I didn't do anything because he was not expecting it to go that way.
So I go rushing over and I'm like, it was a joke. It was a joke. I'm so sorry. Are you okay?
Give me the punchline.
She looks at me and starts laughing.
Correct.
She
Good for her.
busted me. Actually, I was betrayed.
Yes, you
My
were betrayed.
assistant manager, who helped me put the poncho up in the rafters.
I don't know why people are surprised when someone
Told
betrays
her.
a secret like that.
Horrible.
Wow. Okay, sorry, because I actually thought you were going to tell a real ghost story, like you never figured it out. I'm determined to hear
We
this.
never figured out
this entity
who
speaking
who
or
was
doing
running through the store.
You probably had a giant rat.
No, it was not.
You have candy in the store.
No. Okay, move on.
You know it was a rat.
It was not a rat because a rat is not 3 foot tall.
Okay, we're going to go back to that just a minute before we wrap up. But Nikki had a job at a local restaurant that used to be a train stop locally here. Remember? It used to be a train stop and a bakery at some point.
Right.
Okay. And when she started working there, they told her that because there's an upstairs place that they just use for storage, but apparently there's a family that lived upstairs. Something happened to the family. I've never done any research into like who owned that, what bakery was it, whatever, right? But they told her that that place is haunted and that people have said that they've seen things or heard things or whatever, right? She went in there completely like, I don't believe any of that, right? And she, on several occasions, told us that she was washing the dishes or putting something away or whatever. And there was this little kid who was like, excuse me, miss, right? Where's the bathroom? And when she turned around to say that way, there is no little kid. And she would go say, hey, did you just see a little kid? And they're like, there's no little kid in the store at all. There are no children in the store. And she started coming home saying, something is not right in there. Okay. So the unexplained, very interesting, right? But two, speaking about a 3-foot entity, I just had a conversation with my brother about Bigfoot. Okay. This is the older brother. Because he had, like, almost every picture I've seen of him in the last couple weeks, he's wearing a Bigfoot shirt. And it's always when he's working out, right? And so I made some comment about how this is clearly his workout shirt, right? And he said, no, it's a new shirt, and he's my favorite monster. And I sent him a, don't get me started, I'm a believer. And he's like, I can't. I'm a believer too, right? So we're both discussing how Bigfoot, I think there's a Bigfoot out there. Okay.
Wait. What does this have to do with a 3-foot entity?
Because that's exactly how Bigfoot started. Someone
As a 3-foot entity?
I mean, at some point he was little. At some point, someone said, I saw something, an unidentified object. Wow. People changed that to a UFO. But it was really...
Oh my God. Are you serious right now?
What? Think about it. It was an unidentified object.
That is what a UFO is.
Yeah. But they made it about aliens when it's actually about Loch Ness Monster or
Wrong.
Bigfoot.
A UFO.
Flying.
Unidentified flying object.
Correct. But I'm saying at some point it was just unidentified object. Anyway. Scientists have just recently discovered the skeleton of what they're calling a dragon-like creature from a lake. Could the Loch Ness Monster be dead?
I agree that the Loch Ness Monster could be real.
Okay, there we go. Just like Bigfoot.
I'm not saying that Bigfoot can't be real.
I know.
But I just think he's just a jacked up bear.
I don't think he's a jacked up bear.
What do you think he is, like a human? That is...
Yes, and I'll tell you why. And you guys can look this up on your own. This is how we're going to close here. A few months ago, ABC did a story on brothers who have literally been kept indoors their entire life. The episode that they did was called, and maybe it was 2020, it was called Wolf Pack. They were never let outside. They have extraordinary long hair, makes them look like a wolf man, okay? And there you go. Some people have like a condition where their hair grows abnormally long, I guess. So why couldn't Bigfoot just be a very strange looking thing?
Okay. And with that, I think we will end this episode.
Wait a minute. Look at how interesting that we started the episode talking about animals and we ended talking about humanoid animals.
Oh, God. We still have the rest of the day to be together. And this is how you're starting.
Okay.
So with that, we'll say, yeah.
Until next time.
Until next time. Guys, thank you so much for coming and joining us and listening to our absurdities. If you know somebody who doesn't know about this podcast,
or who likes absurdities,
tell them they must listen, subscribe.
Quick, spirit animal.
Bear.
My spirit animal.
Squirrel.
Boom. Till next time.
Goodbye, guys.